kids have asked me if I'm gonna keep teaching. I'm like, well, I'll be here next year, but I don't know about the next year. And like some of them are like, what about you're not gonna be here for our graduation? I was like, well, I could probably come and see the graduation, but I might not be a teacher then anymore. Sometimes it's difficult to think about that you won't be able to continue.
Juan Perez has been teaching 11th grade math for 5 years. Many of his students are undocumented immigrants who barely know any English.
I remember how I was when I was in high school, and I remember everything I was going through, and so it's easier for me sometimes to understand how they're feeling and what they're going through.
Professionals like Perez were able to build their careers with work permits when DACA came along in 2013. Now their efforts may all go to waste.
If it expires next year, as it is now, I know I don't want to go back to Mexico.
And in order for him to stay in the education field, he has thought about opening his own business and become an independent consultant for different schools in New York City.
Otherwise, it would be going back to finding something off the books, under the table, but it would be completely different from being in the field of education.
Instantly makes it much more difficult for them to get a job in line with their skills. It's hard to know how different businesses are going to handle it, but if they're following law, if DACA is no longer in effect, they technically could not hire those people, even if they're qualified.
Nancy Heimstra is an assistant professor in the Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, specializing in global migration and immigration enforcement practices.
Just as any kind of young person who want to take part in the society, so can DACA people participate. I mean, they, want to get jobs. They want to participate fully in their communities. They pay taxes through things that they buy, but also through their salaries. So they, and a lot of times they have unique experiences related to their experiences as being the child of immigrants, having to work really hard to get where they are, that really they bring that to the table.
People like Angel Reyes have never thought of moving back to their home countries.
I've done so many things here, like my business is it's growing, and I'm being successful at what I do, so I don't see why I need to move away from all of this, so I think if all of this gets taken away, it would be really bad for me at a personal level, but it would be bad also for my friends, my family, the people that we help, the community.
Reyes is a local business owner on Long Island. His mother was deported by ICE back to Peru when he was 18 years old. At first, he struggled to support himself and his family. Then he started working as a salesperson at AT&T, working his way up to district manager.
There's a lot of misconceptions, and there's a lot of myths that just because you're undocumented, you're DACA, you don't qualify for different resources, and you cannot apply for financial. You cannot apply for some financial release and certain things like that, and then you just don't look for it because you're like, I'm DACA, I'm undocumented.
He realized that his undocumented status should not hold him back from opening his phone repairing business back in September 2016.
I think Dreamers and undocumented youth are known to be excellent students and just overachievers and really successful minded people in a way, because they know what they came for, they know what they could lose if they go back, and they know that they need to do the best they can to not pay back, but in a way give back to their parents that brought them here and made this big sacrifice for them to have a successful career and a successful life.